Hi, welcome to part 2 of Triad Inversions on 3 adjacent strings. So first of all, like in the first video, I covered all the inversions of a major, minor, diminished, and augmented chord shape just on the just on the G, B, and high E strings. And so today I wanted to talk about how to move those on the other sets of 3 adjacent strings. And so there's a trick that you can use that actually Ted Green would call string transference, where when you're moving any shape, and we'll start with the major, with the C major chord, or we'll be just talking in terms of shapes for this idea, because the roots will change as you move on to different string sets. So here, this is your C major root position. Now, if you move this shape up to the D, G, and B string set, and you want to keep the same chord, in that case a major chord, you would have to then move this note that was on the B string and now is on the G string down a half step. So moving this structure to this string set to keep the same quality requires you moving that middle note in the chord down to here. So the trick is to remember, anytime you're moving up from the string set, move the G string note down one half step. And this rings true with any shape. So that was your major, and then we move the string down, and then you have another major chord. In this case, because this is root position, you have root 3, 5. So this is C, E, and G, so this is a C major chord, and then you move it here, and it becomes, and once you move that note on the G string down a half step, a G major chord. So that will ring true with all the things we were talking about before on the last video. So when you're taking a minor chord, 1, flat, 3, and 5, you move it here, and then you'll have to move that G string note down a half step, and then you have another minor chord, root position. And then for the diminished, same deal. 1 flat, from bass to low note to high note, 1, flat, 3, flat, 5. When you move it here, you now need to move this note. You might want to use a different fingering, like in this case. That one, although you definitely want to be able to do that stretch. So anyway, so diminished and then diminished. Now to do the augmented, same thing. So here's your 1, 3, sharp 5, and then moving that shape here, you will now have to move the G string. So you have, right? And so same thing with all the inversions. So your first inversion, we only did them in C on the last video, so we were here for the C major first inversion. But they're all movable, so these are all first inversion triads. So in this case, it's a G major first inversion because we have 3, 5, and 1. So if you move that shape up here, that's not right. So we have to move that G string again to here. So as you can see, it works for every shape. So I mean, anytime, like even if you're doing like a big giant bar chord, like you'll recognize this one, right? The C minor with a root on the A. So when you move that shape up here, if you keep the same fingering, it's no longer a minor chord. Now it's a major chord. But if you move this G string note down a half step, then you have another minor chord. So it rings true with every shape. So now, with that said, we can move on to doing all your inversions on the D, G, and B string set. So now you have your root position, right? So this is a G because this is G, B, and D. Root 3, 5, and then you move up to your first inversion. So now it's 3rd, 5th, and root. And now it's 5th, root, and 3rd. Then, of course, the octave. And then, same thing for all the others. So then minor, minor, and minor. So that's root position, first inversion, and second inversion. And then diminished, 1, flat, 3, flat, 5. And you have, so if you move this shape here, you have 1, flat, 3, flat, 5, like I just said, sorry. And then flat 3, flat 5, and root. And then flat 5, root, and flat 3rd. So, and then the augmenteds will be, like we talked about before, it's symmetrical, so they'll be all the same shape, just a major third apart. Root, 3rd, sharp 5, 3rd, sharp 5, root, sharp 5, root, 3rd. Alright, so now, same idea. So we're going to move this shape to the next string set, will be the A, D, and G string set. So if we go here and move this, that doesn't sound like a major. It's actually an augmented, but don't worry about that now. So we'll move the G string note back a fret, 1/2 step. Now we have a major chord. So that's that string transference thing from the idea that Ted Green talks about. It's a great article on his page that you should check out. Titled String Transference. And it's been revised from students where it's a little clearer to read, because the original one is written in his handwriting. But totally recommend checking out his website. Great resource for just about anything that you need. So anyway, there's my Ted Green plug. But so here we have major on this string set, major on this string set, the D, G, and B, and then A, D, and G string set. We're moving the G string over to get that one. Now the cool thing about the next string set, these two, the A, D, and G, and the E, A, and D, have the same exact shape for all the qualities. The minors will be the same, the diminished will be the same, and then the augmenteds will be the same. So now let's talk about the inversions on the A, D, and G. So here we are with a major, and so because we have root, third, and fifth, this now is a D major. But like I said before, everything's movable. So if you wanted to do a C major, you'd have to imagine this is a fret for your open string. So then more commonly play like this. You probably recognize that from the regular C chord. So back to the D. So we'll go root position, third degree, fifth, and root. More commonly fingered like this. And then 3, 4, 5, and we'll have 5, root, and third. And then we'll have back to the original root position. So root position, first inversion, 3, 5, and 1. Second inversion, 5, 1, and 3, and then back to the root position, 1, 3, and 5. And now here on this string set, it's nice because it's, like I said, it's the same thing. So this is because this note's an A, the 5th fret on the E string, it will be a A major chord. So you have root, 3, and 5, and you move to the 3rd degree on the E string. You'll have 3, 5, and 1 now for the first inversion, and then 5, 1, and 3 for the second inversion, and then of course back to the A root position up an octave. So very useful, and the same thing for the minors, diminished and augmented. I'll just run through those real quick. So the minor on the string set will be 1, flat, 3, and 5, flat, 3, 5, and 1, right? And then you'll have 5, 1, and flat 3, and then you're back to the root position. And then on this string set, we'll have the same deal. So we'll have 1, flat, 3, and 5, which is in this case an A minor, and then flat, 3, 5, 1, and then 5, 1, flat, 3, and then back to the root position. So that's very useful, and so that gives you the opportunity to be able to, find all your chords looking at the neck this way, right? These are all G's, and then on this one, first inversion G, second inversion, and then on this string set, so they're all your G's. Of course, I didn't do these strings, but right, and then this one. So, and then you of course want to be able to do all the other qualities, G minor, right? So the lowest available one on this string set would be the first inversion, flat 3, 5th, and root. And then you go to the 5, 1, and flat 3, so second inversion, and then root position, and then root position, first inversion, second inversion, and then here, well actually you could go to here, so flat 3rd, 5th, and root, and then second inversion, root position, first inversion, and then first inversion, and then you do the diminish. So here the lowest one would be this one, the first inversion diminished, G diminished, second inversion G diminished, root position G diminished on the D, G, and B string set, first inversion, second inversion, and then you can go to here. We can't do the first inversion because the D is open, we can't get to a D flat for the flatted 5, so we would start here on the second inversion, and root position, first inversion, and then same deal here, we can't get the root position because we end up having a G minor, so that we go up to here. So we would have first inversion, flat 3, flat 5 roots, and then flat 5 root, flat 3rd, and then to the root position, right? And then augmenteds, of course, like we said before, are the same. So the augmented here would be first inversion, second inversion, position, second inversion, root position, first inversion, second inversion, and then here we can do this. So we have third flat, third sharp 5 and root, right? And then so that one I didn't say that was a first inversion G augmented, second inversion, then root position G augmented, and then of course again at the first inversion. And then on the E, A, and D string set, you have first inversion, second inversion G augmented, and then I can't remember if I said so. That's the first inversion. Hopefully that's what I said the first time. And then this is second inversion, and then root position G augmented. So hopefully that helps in terms of like being able to move the shapes around. Just a suggestion on what to do with practicing. You might want to take like a given chord progression. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, you know, think of like a, I don't know, Knock on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan. It doesn't really matter. It could be anything. So in that case, you know, G. We'll just do the one, you know, doing the G, D, and then C version. It does go to A minors. They alternate. But so we would just go work on getting all your chords together there. So G, right, all your inversions, and then all your Ds, and then all your Cs. String set, G's, D's, C's, and then, you know, and so on and so on. So the next string set, and then D's, C's. And then once you get comfortable with all that, you can start to get into voice leading, which we'll talk about later. And I'll, you know, I'll talk about some really good examples, like you can do the cycle of fourths for voice leading, which gets you through all the chords in a key. So anyway, hopefully that helps. You can certainly comment or leave me any questions, or, you know, email me or something if you have any questions about any of that. Some of that I went through kind of fast, so hopefully, you know, it'll be helpful. But definitely let me know if not. So take care. Thank you.